moving into sports from the Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk. I'm happy to have in studio this morning Sports Director Sean Wells. Hi, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good morning, Jeff.
Been a little bit since you've been on the air, I think.
A few weeks, yeah. We had to let those picks cool down a little bit. 13-7 overall, I think, was what we finished with.
13-7. I mean, it seemed like it was a lot better than that when we were just talking off air. 13-7, though, nothing to sneeze at. All right, so you were up at North Mason yesterday for a huge wrestling tournament.
That's right, Jeff. The North Mason Classic. There was 12 teams competing from all over the region. I mean, teams from the 2B classification all the way up to 4A.
How many kids are represented for each school?
It varied a lot.
Okay.
Some kids had maybe 3-4 players, and some teams like North Mason had, I think, close to 10.
So is that dependent on the probability that they'll take on somebody, or is it just the numbers of the kids in the wrestling squad?
Yeah, I think it's a number of things. It is over the holidays, so I bet some kids were out, and I know North Mason had a few kids under the weather.
Oh.
A lot of kids seem to be sick this time of year.
There's something going around.
Yeah, a few kids were out for sure, but yeah, I think it was just kind of just a lot of different kids in different weight classes as far as who they could bring to wrestle, and North Mason obviously had a ton of kids. It was their home tournament. They had 3 kids take first place in their respected weights. Gabriel Navarro took first place at 113 pounds. Colton Harmon took first place at 106 pounds. And Nico Ramirez, the big guy from North Mason, 285 pounds. He took first place. And
Great.
And he took 5th overall in state last year, so he's keeping things rolling this year.
That's exciting. And other wrestling squads around the area, how do they look compared to North Mason? Obviously, they get some first-place wins there, but are there some other teams that we should be looking for and looking at as we move closer and closer to state tournaments?
Yeah, Port Townsend and Port Angeles, both, I thought they did fairly well yesterday. They had some good guys competing tough. Central Kitsap had a couple guys. Gig Harbor had a couple guys who were wrestling tough yesterday. So a lot of good wrestlers from all over the region for sure. Shelton was not participating, unfortunately, but they're another team to keep an eye on this year. They're having a great season so far.
Speaking of Shelton High School, they are basketball. You're going to be at the basketball game tonight at the Mini Dome, right? Boys or girls, or what's going on?
This one is up at North Thurston High School. It's a little round-robin tournament going on with North Thurston, Tumwater, River Ridge, and Shelton.
Wow.
So they played last night, and Shelton dropped a close one to River Ridge, 58-56.
Oh, wow.
But they take on Tumwater again tonight. So they'll look to get some revenge back against Tumwater.
That's fun. A little round robin during the winter break for the kids.
Exactly. Yeah. It's good to keep fresh, and conference play gets going again next week when they host Peninsula on next Wednesday, the 4th.
That'll be our game of the week, I believe. Also, looking back on the website, iFiber1newsradio.com, and the Facebook, the reach of your story you put together this summer with 2 former Shelton High Climber football players who are now with UW. And, of course, UW on Saturday will have a tough test as they take on number 1 Alabama in the first round of the college football playoffs.
Yeah, here it goes. They asked to take on Bama, and here comes Bama. Some are saying this could be the toughest or the best Bama team in recent history.
Wow.
Which would be saying something, because Bama has been pretty dominant the last decade or so. Yeah, the Huskies are going to have their hands full for sure. But, those 2 guys from Shelton High School, Ralph Kinney and David Ajamu, it was fun catching up with them over the summer, and they're keeping tabs on Shelton High School. They still have family going through the school system and so forth, and they're keeping tabs with Coach Hinkle, who was their coach when they were there. Ajamu's getting some playing time. He's more of a blocking tight end, but he's had a couple real nice blocks these past few games, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him get some snaps in this game, a couple key snaps even. Kinney has had a couple snaps here and there. He's not he's far back on the depth chart, but.
Okay.
But I think, was it last year, he was the scout team offensive MVP. So he has a lot of respect in that locker room, and from Coach Peterson for sure. So, it might take a lot to see him get in there, but nonetheless, he's a key contributor to that team in practice and off the field for sure.
I think a lot of the country outside of the Northwest not really giving the Huskies much of a chance here as they take on the number one team in the whole country, undefeated Alabama, 13-0 or whatever their record is now. Do they have a chance to move forward in these playoffs? Do the Huskies have a chance?
Well, if you're listening to the so-called experts on the talking heads,
quote experts,
they're saying no, the Huskies don't have a chance, but I'm saying they do. And this is why, Jeff, this line started off at about 16 points. It's down to 13.5 now. Alabama minus 13.5. So in Vegas, some money's going on the Huskies. And I think the Huskies can hang with them defensively. I think they can create some pressure on that freshman quarterback, Jalen Hurts. I think that defensive line is good enough to get some sacks, some hurry-ups on him. And that secondary is obviously one of the best in the country. Buda Baker, Sidney Jones, Kevin King. The question is, offensively, can that offensive line hold up that Alabama defensive line, that Alabama defensive front, which some are saying is the best possibly in the history of college football? I mean, Reuben Foster at linebacker is one of the best you'll ever see. And a side note on Reuben Foster, he actually almost committed to University of Washington. Ooh. He took an official visit there when he was in his recruiting process, but ended up staying. He was from Alabama, ended up staying with the University of Alabama, but he is no joke out there. You got to keep an eye on him at all times because he can rush through that line and create havoc.
It's going to be an exciting game coming up on Saturday, and you'll be able to see it. Check your local listings there. Sunday, we've got a big Seahawks game on the radio. We'll take a quick break here from Terry Allen and the community calendar. After that, we'll look to the keys to the game for this Sunday's matchup between the Seahawks and the 49ers.
Hi, this is Terry Allen with a look at the community calendar on iFiber1 News Radio. Nonprofits post your events on iFiber1newsradio.com. Escape the chaos of daily life and join a fun group for some light conversation and coloring. Colorful Conversations, hosted by Shelley from Off the Walls Gallery, with crayons, colored pencils, and a cup of tea. A different theme each month. The next free session is 6 p.m. Thursday, January 12th at the Timberland Library in Shelton. For iFiber.
You want me to lose my stick too?
I'm Jeff Slakey. We'll continue our great conversation here with Sports Director Sean Wells as we move now to the Seahawks, who have a big game, must-win game this Sunday in San Francisco. What's the deal with the Seahawks?
That's right, Jeff. If they want that second seed, they're going to need some help, and they're going to have to win against the 49ers here on the road. They're at 9-5-1. On the season. Atlanta Falcons are just above them at that number 2 seed in that coveted bye. So I need the Falcons to lose. They're playing at home against the Saints, which the Falcons have been playing great as of late, and the Saints are so up and down. They're out of playoff contention. We'll see how hard they play out there. But so the Seahawks will need some help for sure. But that game, that line is sitting at, Jeff, right now, Seahawks minus 9.5. That seems a bit high as far as the Hawks. I know the Niners have only won 2 games this season, but
they would love to play a spoiler at the last game of the season.
Just look at the Cardinals last week.
Yeah,
exactly. And this offensive line is so... Gosh,
who's the quarterback for 49? Is it Kaepernick now? Is he the quarterback?
He's still the quarterback for the Niners, yes. But this Seahawks offensive line, Jeff, did you see how beat up Russell Wilson got last week?
I saw it.
It was... it's tough to watch. He is in danger every snap, it seems like, out there. And obviously losing Tyler Lockett with the broken tibia and broken fibula, gosh, that was tough to see. Kason Williams, the ex-Husky, is going to take his place off the practice squad. But they could really use that bye, Jeff, with all the injuries they've had. But I don't see it happening. I see the Falcons winning, and I see the Seahawks pulling out a win as well. But... they'll be hosting a playoff game next week, I think.
Wow. All right. Well, we'll keep it posted there for sure and get the information. Sean's out at North Thurston tonight looking at some basketball round robin as it's Tumwater and Shelton. So we'll get some highlights and recaps of that tomorrow. Sean, thank you much.
Thanks, Jeff. Go Docs.
Go.
you know you have access to the fastest internet in Washington State? Switch to iFiber Communications right now and take advantage of our special offers. Pay only $29.95 for 100 megabit high-speed internet, or get 3 months of internet absolutely free. That's right, $29.95 for 100 megabit speeds or 3 months of internet free. Shop, stream, and game like never before with iFiber Communications high-speed internet. Call 360-427-4000 or check us online at ifiber.tv. Subject to credit approval, valid on a 24-month contract.